to order. Roll call.
Eric,
Yes.
Sarah,
Here.
Ross,
Yes.
Andrea,
Here.
Ralph.
Here.
Okay, suspend the council rules. There's a motion required.
So moved. Should
Okay, Ross, second.
Second.
Eric?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, business items. The first one up is review of the door application from Beck's Garage. Possible action taken. Mallory is out of town, is not able to be here this evening. Chief and I have talked. Do you want to come in here and give your?
When did we receive that? It wasn't written on there, date of receipt.
Yeah, we received it last.
I mean, we never really sat how far in advance. I didn't see it on the application.
Yeah, I didn't.
know, she's already submitted the road closure.
Right.
This is
Yeah,
just
we,
in addition.
yeah.
It was like last Tuesday, I believe. I know that we have had some issues, some probably not related to the event. One, which we can let the chief talk about that if he wants, that we had with the motorcycle trying to do some burnouts and crashed into a car. Did you have some intel you want to give?
Just to discuss it, so the past couple nights that it's occurred on the 10th and 17th, we really had no issue from the establishment itself. The biggest problem we ran into was people believed, including the lady from the radio station, thought a door was already in play. So we had to tell them that no, it wasn't, and we kind of ushered them to go back over to Beck's. I still want to call it Doughboys. But they didn't go back, got out of the road and everything once we reminded them. The biggest problems that we've had last Thursday, we had a couple people start turning their stereos up loud on their bikes. We went and conversed with them, advised them that we did have a noise ordinance, that they were starting to become a nuisance. After a little bit of talking, they finally turned them down. Then people started to leave. Then we did get near the end of the event. We had one individual that was leaving about outside the actual road closed area, try to put a show on, spalling his tires. It didn't go as planned for him because his motorcycle shot out sideways, hit a parked car. Lack of better way to put it, we can't always fix stupid, but we give court dates for it. So we addressed that issue, but that wasn't related to the bar itself. But that's been the only issues that we've really had.
The music was kind of loud this past week.
Yeah,
The drums and the bass.
I know it stopped prior to the 10 o'clock, but you could just still hear it from a distance away. But that was the only thing. And like you said, we have a meeting tomorrow with the owners to talk with them about that, to kind of address those issues. But actually, any problems with alcohol, we did not have, other than just that the customers did not understand what the boundary was. And they actually did put one of their little signs out front, no alcohol beyond this point. And I think I've seen a total of like 3 people the last Thursday, whereas the Thursday prior, there was quite a few. I mean, people were buying buckets and carrying it out. And it's like,
But even the first week, they didn't go past halfway in the road. So it wasn't like they were over in the park. They were just standing in the middle of Front Street, just talking around a bucket of beer. And I mean, I would gone over because I don't know. Oh, I think they had to take off on a call. And I said, hey guys, that bucket of beer in the middle of the street, maybe on the sidewalk at least would be good. And they all said that, well, they were actually police officers, so they knew better. And they said, oh, well, we thought that we could go anywhere. So it was just a miscommunication the first week.
yeah, I think it was a misunderstanding because people heard the DORA, like the legislation was passed, but they didn't understand there was not a permit issue for it. Like I said, even the lady from the radio station, I went and talked to her and she said, I would not have done this, but I thought there it was okay, and I thought there was a door, and I said, no, the permit hasn't been approved yet. So once I explained it, they seemed to understand.
And Mallory has the Porta John. She has it for 28 days. And Rumpke is bringing them a dumpster. I don't know if it's there yet or not, but it was scheduled when I talked to her Friday, I think Thursday or Friday. So, I mean, those things are in place, which is nice.
Yeah, I did not notice any like large amounts of garbage or anything. I noticed like a couple of small things, but that's not abnormal from any other time.
Right.
So it looked like they tried to keep up. From what I've seen, most of the people that showed up for the event was fairly respectful about that, not, littering and stuff like that. The only issues we had was the loud music on the bikes that had to be addressed. And then just people didn't understand the alcohol, and then the one show off a little bit. So, and I think he learned to not do that again. So he was pretty embarrassed after it. Even he didn't give us any problems. He understood.
He
we had to
wasn't
give us-
intoxicated, right?
He was not. He was. They did a sobriety test there, and he gave no indicators. When I talked to him, I could smell just a little bit, and he admitted that he had a drink, but he said I did not sit there and drink a lot because I knew I had to drive. So he was not intoxicated. He gave no clues on the sobriety testing.
I guess you learn how to handle those when you have a motorcycle endorsement, right?
Yeah. If you have your endorsements the way you're supposed to, they tend to teach you that in the classes for it.
And I will say week one, unfortunately, I couldn't be there this week. Week one, everybody was appreciative that we even allowed it. They were all pretty well behaved. I didn't really understand why they had food vendors and other vendors in the alley because I didn't know that was approved with the street closure, but that once again could have just been out of a misunderstanding. The biggest thing is, the first week they had just a backing track, a guitar, and I think a piano. And then this week they had a full band.
They
Correct.
definitely had drums.
Yeah,
You
and
can tell the difference when they don't have drums and when they have drums.
yeah, those kind of groups are going to have to be
Okay.
out in the middle.
Can I speak on this?
Yeah.
So that whole issue can be resolved by cutting the subs out of the full system, right? He was running 8 18-inch subs.
Oh,
When I ran my show over there for the food truck festival, I had 4 18-inch subs only running halfway. So a lot of that is not the band as much as it is the sound guy they hired to run the sound.
now are they using the new house system or are they bringing their own?
There is no house system over there. That they hired a sound guy that I know. I actually know him. He's
Okay.
Quality Sound to do that event. The problem is, like when you were standing here, I was over there for a while. It really wasn't that loud in the venue, but the more bass bounces, the
Yeah.
louder it gets.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could solve that problem by limiting how many subs are actually on site. It's not necessarily the band as much as it is the sound guy.
Well, if we consider the application for this week, I have a few things. Do we know who the band is and are they gonna have a lot of subs, like is that sound guy?
Yeah, I don't know if they have their own, if they're gonna hire somebody.
Yeah, so that's one question I would have. And then the other question is maybe if we approve this application, that the band could be out in the middle of this week. That could be like.
I thought that's what we had said. The whole Dora was to get it out
So
there.
it would move it to the green space this week. And then also my other concern is I think we need to shrink down the Dora area. I would like to see it go from the one side of Station House to like the other side of Doughboys and then just the green space, like the street and the green space.
So I remember when I originally asked about that large Dora area, Alan said he made it that way due to the car show, and Jim Albright's not interested in applying for a Dora. Just to let you guys know.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see bringing it to the area between our property and Boggs, and stopping it there. But I do think we need to include Hell's Half Acre, or not include it and don't let them drive there. But the way they parked, at least the first week, there was nobody hanging out in, other than people walking by the bikes that were parked over there. They literally were just worried about right there, about where you said. I mean,
Yeah.
and Doughboy or Station House, I mean, they were dead. They had somebody playing music on their patio the first Thursday to himself. So it's, it's definitely having a negative effect according to their employees. They were not near as busy because all their parking spaces were full of people that weren't there. So, I mean, I think to keep it fair to all businesses, I think it would have to be, if you want the Dora, the music has got to be for the community. If we're not trying to make it a community event, why would we even have the Dora?
No, I agree with that.
But I think we have to change actual legislation to make it smaller. So we couldn't do that for this week, right?
When I asked Alan, he's when we were doing it last time, he said that could be a condition. You could change it during that time.
Oh,
For the event, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Could I ask a question, Mr. Holden, since you know more about sound
Yeah.
and stuff? Being in the park area as compared to behind the establishment, talking about a band, and you look at acoustics, the way the designs of buildings are and all that, your environment affects sound, obviously. Do you think that would kind of keep the noise level a little bit more contained since it's not like being put into a funnel?
Yeah, so open space definitely eats up sound,
Mhm.
right? So if we're playing in the field, I would have to run pretty much twice as much volume to get the same volume I would behind that door. So moving it into the open space will eat up a lot of the sound.
Do you think that the bands would try and overcompensate for that though?
They could.
but that's where the chief can go over and say,
So, you guys seen the food truck event that I did? I was running, I showed you that, I forget, it's like 87 decibels. That's the exact decibel level that Bex was running
Yeah,
Thursday.
it was Thursday.
They ran the exact same decibel level that I ran in the middle of town. So that tells you how much that bass is bouncing.
It was easier to hear it over on Congress Street than it was out in front of the establishment.
yeah, because it just hits and comes straight back. I mean, like the first week, I mean, the readings on my side of the street were, I think, sustained at 71, and never went above that. But when they had their full band, I don't know, a month or so ago, I mean, we were in the 80s on my ramp. So
You gotta remember too, I mean, a crowded restaurant's 90 decibels,
right.
right? So if we were still able to sit there on their back patio Thursday and carry on a conversation like this without any interruption. So they weren't really that loud. It's just, it was, the noise was escaping, but it wasn't that loud.
Right. And I mean, I think if they don't want to move it, then they don't get the door.
So you want to condition that the music is in the park, right?
I think that's the only reason to have it. Because if not, then we're not trying to make it a community-based thing. We're just giving a for-profit business the whole center of town to run their business for the night.
Can I say, this is where I kind of have an issue. If we're going to force them to be a community event, we're still charging them for everything to put it on. I can see it if they are for profit, but we're also charging them to do it for profit. We're charging for the cops, the trash, everything. So by us saying we're going to force you to be a community event, are we going to slide in there and help with any of that?
Well, we're not going to force them to be a community event. We're forcing them to make a change for the betterment of the community that's around there that has to be their neighbors,
Yeah.
so that they can have bigger events.
Okay, the way you.
Yeah, well, when we were talking about the Dora, the previous mayor, he had said that would, make it to where the first week there was actually 2 families with strollers
Mhm.
that were sitting at the picnic tables listening because they didn't want to be back there with the little ones. And, that told me, okay, we do have community members that want to listen to the music with their family. And they sat there almost the whole time, almost 2.5 hours at least.
Well, by putting the stage over there and throwing everything south would eliminate a lot of your issues.
You mean north?
Torch bulbs, there is some torch bulbs.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the density of the houses are less that way.
Yeah.
Right. But the only other issue is you force them to have it in there, they shell out all this money that it rains. Their stage is covered behind the back. So in a rain event, would they be allowed to move it to continue the event?
Well, I mean, I would think the rain would pretty much squash the Dora. So, I mean, it would go.
We played through some monsoons to
Oh.
1,000 people.
Well, that they had a full band like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they played through a monsoon, behind their place.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we could put that as a condition too, like in the, we expect it to be in the green space, but in the event of rain, you're allowed to still have it.
Would they have canopies? Like you guys have canopies?
We do for the sun, but it would not stop the rain.
She did say the last event, that's, I can't remember the name of the band, but it's a pretty popular band, and she figured it would have to be in the park, because it's a pretty big one, but, okay, so you want music in the park, except,
and when we do that, I think we should allow them to have their. I think they had like an attorney bike, thing. I think they should be able to set up over there as well, not just in the alley.
you mean at the park?
Yeah, just around the
On the grass?
perimeter, not on the grass, but around the perimeter, kind of like the food trucks order, because that's all going to be closed anyways.
Now, are they still gonna only sell alcohol out of the bar, or will they be allowed to set up a satellite?
Their liquor license, they have to sell it out of the bar. So the Dora doesn't open up their footprint for sales. It just opens up that
Where
they
they can carry.
they can carry it out.
That they might set up in what would normally be a seat, setting it like their porch.
Yeah,
It's still their establishment, so they might be able to set up there where normally that would be setting room for customers.
Now, I know like in Hilliard, when we go up there, their Dora, every drink has to be poured into a cup no matter what. They cannot serve you a bottle of beer or a can of beer.
correct.
You can make that a condition if you'd like.
Yeah.
Well,
I
we
guess-
have to be
well,
able to
that's how you know
identify
it's
it.
a Dora, right?
Yeah, we have to be able to identify it so somebody doesn't bring a 6-pack in their car and
Oh,
just.
no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think we need to have it in a plastic cup.
Now the cups, just so you guys know, we don't have time to go get our special cups.
Right.
So Ralph had the idea of them going to their distributor and just getting some, let's say Anheuser-Busch, whatever, that they buy from them, so that would just be the cup.
Okay.
I did contact the place that you were talking about, Eric. They said they're 6 to 8 weeks out.
Okay.
So that could be something for next year. We can have our own with the logo and everything.
I mean, like in Columbus, the distributors provide them for everybody. I mean, because they want their logo on it.
Yeah.
So if we tell them we want a pink cup, they'll make a pink cup happen within days because they've just got big screen printing, places and have it done.
Yeah.
But I definitely think we need to make it a bright colored cup.
Yeah.
That
There could be restrictions from the State Department of Commerce, because I've heard people say before they have to serve in a cup that you can see what's in it. So I don't know, that would,
I don't know because Columbuses aren't translucent.
they're not,
No,
yeah.
depending on what bar, they're all different colors. And I know on Town Street they're actually, I believe it was blue, and you couldn't see through it because a couple groups that I picked up from there to take home still had their cups. I'm like, nah, you need to dump it out. But I mean, I can't say without a doubt, but I can tell you that Columbus, some of their Dora areas are not translucent cups. But I mean, honestly, for this one, I don't know that it would be a big concern as long as they were very easily identified. And I'm sure Anheuser-Busch or somebody would,
Those are clear.
yeah, would be able to do I think all their cups are either clear or white.
And they would be able to tell as well, because they have people, that's all they do is concentrate on the
Right.
legality side of it.
Are there any other conditions? I know I can put the Dora, making it smaller, and I can double check with Bill. Email him and make sure we can do that.
So do we need to take any action tonight? besides setting conditions? And then, or do you just
Well-
approve?
So we'd have to approve
You'd
it
have to approve it.
by vote.
I mean, do we want to approve this to see how it goes this time and just kind of test it out in case we
I don't,
want to do it for the next big event next Thursday?
Well, this is for both of them.
Oh, it's for both of them,
Yes.
okay.
but remember, we could take the second one away.
Right, okay.
The chief
Now-
has that ability to,
Chief, now that
You
you
really don't foresee any problem with it at all, right?
I,
With what's been going on. so
That's a
far.
loaded question.
yeah,
Oh, then I wouldn't have a job.
But with the crowd, but I'm saying with the crowd now, do you see any major safety concerns?
If we have a repeat of what we had, I don't foresee any major issues. And a couple issues we had, when I talked with Marysville Police, because it was up in that area where they had it before, this fall in line with what they indicated that we would see, that, they said, yeah, with more traffic, you're gonna have, possibility of more crashes or traffic, incidents that go on. Just some of the loud stuff that went on. So, I mean, it's fallen in line with what we fully expected. So, yeah, as long as it's a repeat of, what we had, we shouldn't have anything go on.
You knocked on the paper, you might want to.
yeah.
It's made out of wood. It's,
and,
How do you feel with just two?
for the.
I mean, you can put whatever, but requiring two for this event.
Yeah, I think just with the crowd size requirement of them to have 2 special duty officers, I never really want to work one
Right.
for any event where there's alcohol that's being served. But I would say 2, because if something would go on, I mean, obviously if there be forbid a large fight or something break
Well,
out, they're gonna call out units off the road to come in.
Yeah,
and
a lot of
assist.
and a lot of you guys had to leave that first week because of a domestic, which could have left nobody.
Yeah, there was still one
Yeah, there
officer
was.
present, and you had more than one officer.
Yes.
I'll just put it that
Yes.
way.
Now, Wendy, would we work this as they pay the officer directly?
Yes.
I think that I don't
Yes.
think we need to involve us in any of that.
and I
Yeah.
let Mallory know that would probably be how that would go.
And what is the county rate?
We match the county rate. That way we're across the board. So it's 55 an hour per officer.
And they would only meet 3 hours because that's the time of their thing.
Yeah, so way we do special duty is there's minimum of 3 hours. Obviously it wouldn't be worthwhile for somebody to shut up for an hour, but so it'd be 3 hours, and that's how long their event is 6 to 9.
Some events in the future, though, may only be a couple hours. So don't you think we should just have the minimum be 2 hours, and then if it's more?
Well,
I match what the county does, minimum of 3. So.
and if people know
But
that,
just because they do it doesn't mean.
they just put it in. Well, yeah, because if our guys can't cover it, then the county has to, and then they're going to be 3. So that's why we try to all stay together. Because, like, if the county needs something covered, they could ask Adam, "Hey, do you have somebody that can work this?" Because they can swear him in on the spot. Just
Yeah.
like our guys could go work Ohio State football games, if they so wanted. And
But
they,
we're just talking about special events just for these. We're not
Yeah,
talking about
this
other
is,
special duty.
So, yeah, with this, it's 3 hour minimum, because most of the time it's gonna be people on their off day that's coming in work, and maybe it's an age thing. I'm at the point that I don't even know if I would get out of bed for $100 now at this point.
So we have the music in the park. In the event of rain, it could be moved back to the
Mhm.
originator, whoever did the app, which at this point would be Bex. The cups from the distributor, the door perimeter made smaller. 2 special duty officers at 55 an hour, which I did let her know that rate.
Mhm.
Like I said, they already have a porta-john, and Rumpke is just they've been wanting a dumpster and haven't been able to get one, so they're being able to get it. So they're not paying anything additional for the dumpster. It's just going to be there all the time.
what are we doing for around the park area for trash? Because if people are going to be over there watching,
They have to clean up. That should be a condition too. They have to empty our trash cans and put them in their dumpster, because it's not Mike's responsibility to clean up after their event.
You don't think they should see if they can get some of those like cardboard Kroger receptacles to put around?
I know
Or
last
something
time I
like that.
checked with Kroger when I wanted some, they don't really have very many of those anymore. I mean, I know you can buy them off Amazon, but I don't know. There's not really enough time to do that.
Is our trash cans over there full time?
Yes, but they need to empty them.
Right, so as long as they empty.
As long as they empty and provide their own trash bags and their, I don't have a problem with it. But,
The only other thing worth note is they will probably need to, and I think we've allowed this for other events and stuff, with the band being in the center of town, since that is being provided for community, just they will have to hook up to electric there at the garage. So,
they usually, if they do it where like his van was, they hook up right to the
I plug
light,
right into the light
right
poles.
into the light pole.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think on the outside of that building, it's like a 40 or 50 amp.
Yeah.
They can run, we can run Y splitters, we can come off the two light poles into one and still get our 50 amps.
That's what,
Excuse me, now, last week, the door was not in effect, correct?
Was not,
How about the first week?
was not.
Okay, so we spent 25 minutes
yes,
talking about how to correct something that never happened.
yes.
What am I missing?
That's why I'm trying to rush it
I
along
think we
here.
just need to vote on it and see how it's gonna go
Okay, we've got those conditions.
with those
Because
conditions.
we were just doing the conditions. That's the first
So
one.
now we into Kroger trash containers? That
Well,
doesn't sound like a condition to me.
Yeah, it is, because if they use the park and there's
Kroger
trash,
container. Okay.
All they have to do is get trash bags and just empty the trash.
Yeah. Okay, well, I make a motion to, accept the floor. Is that what we're doing?
We have a motion on the floor by Sarah. Do we have a second?
Second.
By Ralph. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I will fix that up, get that over to them. All right, the next item up for discussion is Harsh Alley. During our staff meeting, I had some things come up that we didn't know about. The lady that has the daycare down there, John Wilson let us know that the curb box where we want to extend the road is right there at 3.5 feet where we want to extend the road. So the curb box is going to have to be moved. They had, the sewage was running, or not sewage, but the, what was it, Wendy? I lost it. The sub pumps were running straight into our sewage lines, which is a no-no. But she fixed that. John went down that Wednesday and she fixed that. So we've gone back and forth. There's been, what we approved, and I wish our village administrator would have told us a little bit more, guided us a little bit more, but it is what it is. We approved to extend the road, just the 3.5 feet. Susan comes in and, per our code, she wanted the whole road redone. I'm like, well, that's not a condition that we agreed to. So I think now she's okay with that, but there's got to be some easements. Kevin's got to give up some easements to his property and things like that. And that curb box has got to be moved. And we're not going to move it for them. So she was wanting to open today. Obviously, it didn't happen. She has 10 kids, and that's all she's allowed to have because she's only phase 1, which is the old, the door in the kitchen that she completely ripped out. Until this, and we would put a time limit on this road getting done, a time frame. Would anybody have an issue with her opening with 10 kids? That's all she has, and being able to, there wouldn't be a two-way down there. She would have to come in on the other alleys. So I told her I would bring it up. We can talk about, I think we definitely want that road done before school starts. Is my thought process.
Well, what are we going to make them do? The 2 feet that we agreed to, plus move the box, or
Whatever the agreement was, but yeah.
okay?
I don't have a problem with her opening. I mean, I think it's beneficial for her to have money coming in if there's things that she has to fix up and fix.
So I'm coming in on this real late, but what was the original agreement?
They just add 2 feet of blacktop over the already compacted parking lot that we took from Mr. Hill years ago and never compensated him for. He's going to give us another 2 feet and waive his right to any monies that could be owed. But we said he could just pave right over because that's all compacted. To break it up.
Oh, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, so we just said 2 feet to make it, I believe it was 20 feet wide and be done with it. And the village administrator stood right there and didn't say anything about any, other issues.
So if it goes 2 feet, would that curb box even be an issue?
Yes.
It would still be an issue at 2 feet?
Per John. That's what he said in the meeting.
Mr. Hill, how quickly could you get that done, do you think?
Can Bruce speak with that? There's also a top seal, a top coat that would be required on that. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, well, you guys plan on using like 3 or 4 top or?
Well, so that's part of what we're doing now, and I'll just, for you and the rest of the council, I'll just kind of remind everybody what happened. So about 12 years ago, Mr. Hill was approached about granting an easement to the village. Before that could get worked out, the village went ahead and widened the road from what was there, which was about 12 to 13 feet, to what's there now, which is about, it runs between 17 and almost 20 feet at one end, right? So what we agreed as part of our condition, as Eric mentioned, so there's this whole time period where the property was being used and not compensated for. So everything there, that's all going to be just gone away, right? We did this. Let bygones be bygones. We would then expand the road to a 20-foot area. Through multiple discussions with the previous mayor and the engineer, there was some miscommunication with the engineer. So the engineer at the first iteration we got back said they wanted 26 feet, which included 2 foot of berm and 4 foot of sidewalks. So that happened in May. Like we went, and I know there was some, people were wondering what was taking so long on this. I'll tell you, the day after it was approved, I went to John and said, John, I need you to tell me what portion of the code controls our road improvements, because there's road improvements for new roads, 60 foot wide, and then there's the separate section. It's only one line that says for ultra low volume travel and reconstruction, right? And that's where we thought we would fall under. So we were waiting for approval for that. Well, then there was kind of a transition phase after we kind of found out this 26 thing, like, hey, that's not what we agreed to. It's not what we budgeted. We can't do that. So there's a transition phase. Since Nancy took over, she's been on top of it, getting us updates constantly from the engineer. But the engineer was still a little confused at first, and that's where Nancy jumped in again. Like she said, they wanted us to repave the whole thing. But there's still kind of an issue. So what Eric highlighted, we thought we were putting pavement in just like they did when they expanded the first time to make it 20 feet wide. What the current specifications from, and I'll just be honest, that's about a $10,000 improvement, right? That's what our estimates have come back at. What the village engineer now wants is for us to improve the road base down almost 12 inches. So it's a certain amount of aggregate, a certain amount of pavement, and then a pavement that's not even included in the code. It's like, I think the top pavement in our code's a 401 and she wants a 441. So we just got
Which is latex, probably.
I genuinely don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
a roadway
I
engineer.
think it is.
But it's the same composition that would be put in on a new build residential road that's going to be high volume, or my understanding is even like a Welch Road improvement would be that kind of a road. We just got the quote back from that about 45 minutes ago. So the previous quote for the whole overlay was almost $40,000. Taking the overlay out and just putting in the crack seal, but using the same base composition that she wants, we're at $28,000. And that's not including anything to do with this curb box, the curb stop. So it's still very much cost prohibitive from our perspective, and it feels to be a lot more than what we originally thought we were agreeing to here when, I think there were some conversations where someone mentioned curbs and gutters. And we're like, we want to make sure we're just putting pavement in here, guys. And that's that's what's written in our conditional approval. As far as the curb stop goes, I'm digging into it, but I did speak with Ryan Sark. He's getting us a quote. That's who the village uses for those sorts of things, and Nancy put us in touch with him. But there's a little bit of a hiccup there. So my understanding is that the original curb stop, so this is for the building that sits right there on the corner of First Street and 762 that Mr. Hill actually owns, where there used to be a Hills Agritech sub piece there. The original curb stop was actually paved over in that first road widening. So that new curb stop that we want moved was only put in 4 years ago, was put in outside of any village easement space. And now we're trying to figure out if we have to move it again, when we've already given kind of the space for it. Now that is only based on what I spoke with Mr. Stark about. He was kind of giving me the history of it because he put it in 4 years ago. But our understanding is we didn't know that it got put in 4 years ago. They were doing some drainage work. They had it already tore up. Someone was like, well, we don't have a curb box anymore, so let's put it right here. But they didn't ask us, and it's on our property. Again, that's all, it's benefits the building, we need one, but it's just not the way that it should have been done. But now here we are, if the original writing hadn't happened, the village would have put in its own box, and then they moved it, and now they want us to pay to move it. And again, I get it, the village doesn't want to come out of pocket for us to be able to use the daycare, but it's still not what we had originally thought we were getting, and not what we budgeted for, not what the new owner budgeted for. So we are trying to still work through it. We're working together almost every couple of days. Nancy's, we're talking through it because we're trying to figure it out. We want to do right by the village. We've been trying to do right by the village, but there's been a lot of snags. So all that to be said, I don't know if that answers all of your questions, or Alfred, if you have
Sure,
any further.
yeah.
That's kind of an update on where we're at. We're still waiting. I'm sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
We're still waiting to hear back from Mr. Sark on how much the movement's going to be. Because what I wanted to do is say, Nancy, okay, here's the total dollar value of what this is going to cost, and here's what we thought it was going to be, and what can we do here. But I did get the road quote back. I got the new specifications, I think maybe Thursday of last week, and our paving contractor got those to us this afternoon. It was about $28,000, like I said, for just the pavement. We just have to figure out what that is, and then we're going to hopefully be able to sit down with everybody and figure out what the best compromise is. Because I understand why the village wants certain things done. But again, I don't know if the onus should be on us. I look at moving the curb stop that's already out of place, or adding an additional base, kind of like, when a developer comes in and puts in a water line, if they need a 6-inch water line, well, they put in the 6-inch water line, but the village wants a 12-inch water line. Sometimes the village contributes to that cost because they want above and beyond what was originally planned for. So we may be asking for something of that. I don't know, but I do know that I think that what we're looking at, a cost in excess of $30,000, is just not what we planned for when we thought we were putting a couple of feet of asphalt down.
So here's what I'm wondering with all that said. So thank you for that breakdown. That was perfect. I love it. My question is, let's say we approve for her to go ahead and open the daycare, but things come back and it's more than what you budgeted, which is most likely going to happen. And let's say the village does not agree with you that we should help out in some form or fashion monetarily towards this. What then? Because we've already said, yes, you can open it. You have to do the improvement as a condition to open it. So what happens then?
So I think we still continue to work through what that condition has to look like. And that I'm hoping that we can have the engineer involved, get council members involved here at a meeting so that we can all talk through it. Once we get the final version of what it has to be, then we move from there. I mean, it's $30,000. A lot of money's already been outlaid based upon this idea that we had to expand some pavement, right? We would ask that the village only require us to do what was in the conditional use, and we continue to go forward with that. It's kind of the same question the mayor had, the previous mayor had when he granted us the ability to kind of, as we were working through all these things, because obviously you can always remove if we don't meet our conditions in the timely manner that you want, and then we have to see what avenues we could pursue at that point.
Bruce, let me make sure that I'm digesting this correctly. So once again, somebody in the village took more of Mr. Hill's property through an easement to put this curb box in without compensating him.
That's my understanding. Again, that's just what I've been told thus far as we work through with the village contract.
Well, I mean, it's outside the easement.
That's yeah, because so the road was originally only platted at 16 feet wide there, and so the village always has easements along its roads for utilities, and that's where the original curb box was my understanding. Well, then because of the fire truck traffic, it was determined they needed to widen that street, so they widened over top of where the curb stop was. There was no box. A lot of the old curb stops in the village were just buried, right?
Well,
So,
yeah, this is just a standard curb box, right? Okay. Yeah, they're all, yeah.
so this was
Are those super expensive? Also,
No, it's expensive that, it's just, and it all had, I mean, I'm thinking this thing through from experience. I don't think it's as big a deal as we're making it.
that's what I'm
it may not
wondering.
be. I just don't have the number.
Would that be and I'm not speaking, but hypothetically, if that moving that was a shared cost, would Mr. Hill be willing to not charge us for if we did take more of his land
Oh,
in easement?
yes. The idea is that everything that's, like you said, past is the past, bygones be
Yeah.
bygones. We agreed as part of our conditions to waive all rights for compensation over the last 10 or 15 years for the use of that area. That's
Or 4 years if this.
It's been over
box-
4 years as for the box. Like that's all included. We're not, like, we had no interest in that, right? It was helping the fire department out at the time, right? Like we understood that. It was, we thought something would eventually get worked out, and that's what we're here to try to do now. So yes, we're not interested in that at all.
I mean, I feel that if the village did somebody wrong, as the current administration, we need to try to right that wrong as much as we can, as long as it's cost effective to everybody. I mean, because
Let me
if
try to clarify a couple things, okay? I appreciate what you're saying. Because everything I try to do, I do for the benefit of this community. I mean, as a property owner, we try to put the right tenants in, we try to put the right businesses in. We look after the community, right? I'm gonna correct one thing Bruce said, just because he didn't know. So, back when the village approached me about widening that road many years ago, there are no easements on that road because that was a platted subdivision.
16 and a half feet is the road. There are no easements beyond.
There's
That's
not.
it. That's all there is.
That's all that
So
is.
there is no easement. So when they come to me about doing it, at the time, your tap fees were like $4,000. And I said, how about a free tap fee? Because I've got lots all over town and I could use it somewhere, right? Would have been a good deal. But apparently the council turned it down. And so I forgot about it. And then the next year they come in and paved it. Anyway, so surprise. Anyway, all that's over, right? I am going to say this. It's the only thing negative I want to say. I got very upset last meeting because your engineer lied
yes,
and made me sound like a bad guy. I'm not. So now that's on record. Now, when this all started, okay, which this is good, Megan approached the state of Ohio on some grant opportunity that she found, or her attorneys found. And she was told that that should qualify for a grant to redo that road. Okay? So we went to Allen, and I know that there isn't a lot of, well, we found out. I thought that there was a lot of communication here, but I don't think that there has been, maybe. So, so she found this grant, but it has to come through the village. The village applies for it on her behalf. She was willing to do all the paperwork, the legwork, all the phone calls, everything that she'd done, because she'd already followed through on it. And then the village could very possibly get that road redone for free. Once Bruce was willing or able to get this thing negotiated to where all we had to do was a couple of, well, at one end it's like zero and at the other end it's a little bit, that little bit of paving, we thought 5,000 or 6,000 in paving, no big deal, we'll just pave it and be done with it. So that's the direction we went. But if you're willing to extend her the ability to open up and operate, let's have her apply for this grant and get the whole thing paved again. Because I don't disagree with your engineer saying that a top coat over everything is better, but that's not something we should have to pay for. So maybe in working together as a community, let Sarah apply, or Megan
Sarah, you're going in this business one way or the other.
apply for this grant, and the village will have to do it, but she'll do all the legwork, and then maybe you'll get it done for free, especially since if you feel that it's safe to be able to go ahead and use this roadway 2 ways, meanwhile, that's happening. So I just wanted to say that instead of coming to a decision tonight about 2 feet, I mean, obviously, that's all we want to go, and really and truly shouldn't have to pay to move anything, but it may not be much of a cost at all, so we'll see. But ultimately, what's best for the village is the potential at least to investigate. You see, nobody took that any farther. They just negotiated with Bruce to do what those bullet points were, and then that's what you guys voted on. And I think that whole grant situation was just,
Yeah, I didn't know.
first end of the road.
Yeah, I
Well,
think about
and-
that.
and-
I never heard anything.
Thank
Now-
you.
I can, reach out to Megan. I've
Yeah,
got her number.
she's a
and her email.
Great person.
Oh, she's been in
And she's
here
gonna be an
quite a few
asset to the
times.
community.
Yeah. Very nice.
My only fear is some of those grant processes can take months and months and months, and we definitely want it done before snow
So-
flies.
So at the time she came to us and we come to the village, it was already passed this year,
Oh,
okay? So I mean, it would be a next year thing.
So could we do the less expensive 2 feet and then apply to get it all redone?
Very good.
Well, that's what I was gonna
It's worth
suggest,
exploring.
is that we could maybe work out where we do match the pavement that's there, do the overlay, not do the 12 inches of base for a new construction road, the quote that came in around the $10,000 range, do that now, so the road can be widened, because we can get that done pretty quick. We get that done, then we agree that we'll apply for the grant, and if the grant comes through, then the road gets taken care of. But what we'd ask is that if the grant doesn't come through, then if the village wants further improvements, the village would handle those further improvements.
Could you guys get that 0 to 3 feet done within 60 days?
I think the answer is,
I don't know why we couldn't. Would have long been done.
Right.
I think the answer is yes. We'll have to check with the paving.
Could we say she would open for no more than 90 days before it's done? That way
yeah, she
when
would
we,
just go, she wouldn't use that road
No,
as
no,
a
but-
two-way. She would
but then
just
if it's
go-
not done in 90 days, then we have to.
I have a concern about that as far as childcare goes,
Mhm.
because when you're taking care of kids, I mean, these daycares are on like year-long waits.
Mhm.
So if you pull that childcare away from those parents,
Yeah, that's.
they don't have anywhere to go.
Well, they're gonna have it done. I
So-
mean, it'll be done within 2 weeks if I know these guys.
I don't know if we've asked the contractor.
The contractor's giving me time for, they had, because this is like our 5th quote from them. I think they're getting tired of me asking for new quotes, to be honest. But they're not, it's not like we're going with Rose Brothers who's backed up. We're going with a company out of Obetz who does smaller projects for this. That's what we, because we were planning on doing the smaller amount. So I think the answer is yes, we can get it done pretty quickly. And maybe instead of saying, if we're not done in 90 days, it gets pulled, we have to come back in and explain to you why. Right. And then you guys can reevaluate.
I think what you and I need to do is, have a meeting with Susan, just so we can all sit around the table all together instead of me with her, then conversing with you.
Happy to.
So, I'll get with you tomorrow.
Okay.
After I get with
So what do we need to do as a legislative body to allow this to move forward? Do we need to do anything since we already set our specifications and voted? We don't have to do anything else, correct?
Susan said she would feel comfortable with her allowing to open if she had the affidavit from Keven granting us the easements and right-of-ways. That's what she wants in order to let her open.
So the affidavit doesn't grant any easements, right? So what the affidavit does is it just says you have to comply with conditions. But the problem is the conditions that we have now, we're not comfortable complying with. If she can get us the updated conditions or you guys can approve, we're only gonna have to do the pavement or the $10,000 quote. We can get the affidavit signed tonight before we leave. The problem is the conditions that we currently have are a $30,000 condition that we're not comfortable swearing and attesting to that we're going to do that at this point because we think it's over what council
Well, I
previously.
believe this was a second document that she wanted, not.
So that's,
first.
yeah, that is what you're talking about is an easement grant. So that's where you're going to grant the easement and a right of way. I've already talked to Bill Matus about it. So that's a longer document that actually is going to get recorded at the recorder's office. We're in the process of drafting those now. But that's always been a condition as well. That's not something new. That was the second bullet point on our condition list. We have to grant the village those
So
easements.
where are we at with that?
So now that I know it's only 20 feet, our surveyor is preparing the legal description because we got stalled again because it went from 20 to 26. So we have to get a new legal description for that strip that goes from the 16 and a half where it's already paved out to the 20. So it'll be a fully platted 3.5 strip that'll get granted to the village. As soon as we get the legal, surveyors take a little while. I'm hoping, 5 to 7 days. Shouldn't be longer than that. The document itself is 1 page and already drafted. I just need the legal description of the actual 20-foot area.
So Bruce, just so I understand, the whole council agreed to this once before.
Yes, so we brought forth a conditional use permit, and there was some discussions, there were concerns about the traffic pattern in the back. So we did a full 3 readings, I think, for this one. By about the second reading, it was determined this needs to be a 2-way street. So what do we need to do to make it a 2-way street? So I worked with Alan, and we came up with 5 specific bullet points that then council had in front of them before the conditional use was voted on. And those got incorporated specifically into the conditional use permit.
Those were agreed on.
Yeah.
Yes, they were agreed on and voted on as part of the conditional use permit. And what it says is we will expand the pavement to 20 feet. It's pretty clear and pretty specific.
The only thing I'm gonna say, regarding Susan is that we don't know what she was told when John Gross went out the door.
Understood.
So, I don't really like, the bashing of her employees. She's very intelligent, as you know. But that's some of the things, there was other things that she didn't know the full story of because she wasn't told the full story.
It's
So I think we need
communication.
to give a little bit of grace.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a trickle down thing from,
Yeah.
I think in large part that, again, there was that transition period.
Well, what Mr. Hill was talking about was I specifically asked her, have you had any communication other than the 2 feet? She said, absolutely not. I requested copies. She did send them emails that she wanted the road 4 more feet with the sidewalk. So in the meeting, she either forgot she had those communications or she just misspoke. That's what he's talking about when he said she lied.
So let's move on here. Okay. We're going to grant her. She can,
I need to go, there's a couple of things that I want to go over with you about this because I have a little more direct reference to
What
some of
happened
that.
before and
Because, I know some of what you're talking about for the problems, and I think I need to understand so that I can share some information and we can talk about, the necessity of what really has to be done and what are we really looking at in the scope of this.
that's,
And this tap thing is a big part of that, and it's not that big a deal.
okay,
So I want to look at that.
okay, no problem.
So I'll call you tomorrow, you call me, whatever.
Are we kind of able to separate like whether or not she can open from the street issue and like
yes.
discuss that and vote on
Yes, she
that
just
later?
would not be able to use that road
Right.
as a two-way.
Right, only as a one-way.
Right.
But we're only talking about 10.
10
10
cuts.
hits.
Yeah, that's
10 hits.
minimal.
So I just need an answer from council.
So maybe if I may, Mayor, based on what Sarah was saying about not wanting to be pulled back, maybe what we do is you limit it to 10 kids based on this traffic pattern. And if you want to go.
That's all she's allowed to have.
What I'm saying is, I think the concern is if in the future it gets to be more kids, right? She can't just start using those roads. So
Yeah.
limit it to 10
Right.
kids until the road gets improved. That way we can have some time.
She's
to
only
work on
doing
it.
phase 1, which is all she has now. She can
Right.
only have 10. Phase 2 would be the garage, and she's not planning on doing that until next year.
Understood.
So
So I think, do we need to vote on whether she can open or just say yes or what?
I just need an
I'm fine
answer.
with it. I'm fine with
I'm
it.
fine with it.
Yeah, I am too.
You guys fine with that?
I
Absolutely.
mean,
Ross, you good?
maybe we could word it that she can open under phase 1 conditions.
Yeah, because I'm with Sarah on that. I don't want to have her pull the kids in 90 days.
Right.
Right.
Because that's going to upset a lot of families.
Yeah. we're
Yeah.
not doing that.
But I like what Bruce said about we'll hold them to phase 1 until the road's.
Yep, I like that.
I mean, the
too. That
90
was a-
days, I just said that, so if it wasn't, they would have a time frame to come back in and be prepared to tell us, hey, we've done this, we've done that, just so we could keep up on it.
To be fair, as Ross knows, the asphalt plants are going to shut down in November-ish
Right.
timeframe anyway, so we don't have a lot of time to get it done outside of 90 days anyways.
Okay, we'll do that, and then tomorrow we'll
Perfect.
talk. Ross, I'd like to talk to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna move to legislation. Except for first reading, I am asking council to waive the readings on this one.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
afternoon.
you.
This is resolution 25-2025, a resolution ratifying the appointment of Wendy Hastings as acting village administrator, establishing the salary of the acting village administrator, ratifying all actions taken by Wendy Hastings since July 1st, 2025, and declaring an emergency. I did okay this with the prosecutor's office, with the AG's office. The
But she
AG just referred me to our solicitor, so.
So she is allowed to hold
Yes.
dual roles? Okay, that was all.
You've done
that
this
was
in the
my
past,
question.
once or twice, didn't you?
We're both appointed.
Yes.
Perfect,
Thought
okay.
I did, but Mike Kreitz, way back when I started, took it on
Oh,
because I had just started.
I thought you had too. And are
Well,
we
I-
retroing the pay to July 1?
Yes,
And, okay.
yes.
We're retroing everything.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, the only question that I had, and there's something else, is that you're directly supervising people that you're writing checks for. Is that an issue?
No, she's not.
This is only a
college
temporary
checks.
thing though, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Do we have any idea of a time frame?
We're hoping maybe within a month we'll may possibly know. So this may be like a 4 to 6 week. deal.
So it is a temporary
Yes,
assignment?
it is
Okay.
temporary.
Motion to waive the readings of 25-2025.
Second,
All right, roll call.
Eric,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Andrea,
yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second,
Roll call.
Sarah,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Andrea,
yes.
Ross,
No.
Eric.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome, Wendy. Thank you, guys. Okay. For second reading is ordinance 2025-04, an ordinance approving the annexation of 10.163 plus or minus acres of Scioto Township into the Village of Commercial Point and amending the zoning map.
And this is the gas station.
No, this is the Scioto edition. The Scioto is,
Oh, yeah, okay. Got it, sorry.
And this was like
Got it written down.
28 houses,
29.
29.
Nancy, do you know that there was a traffic study done for the Addison Farms deal? Some of those changes, do these people have to pick that up? Ross, you might be able to answer that for me.
I cannot.
So-
this on the other side of that development
Well, it's towards 104, but it's still going to increase the traffic.
It'll hook into.
Yeah.
And a
well.
couple of those traffic study things said any increase and
That's
this, it didn't say it needs, but it said it's warranted, I think was the word. Is that what they, but so that was,
It needs looked
Remember,
into.
like us bringing that up before and
and,
now saying it didn't need a traffic study.
but everything that applies to come in has to have a traffic study. According,
It's a planned district,
and that,
but I am not sure if there's like a limited number of houses on that.
And am I correct in remembering that the only way in and out of this addition
Is
is
Scioto.
through Scioto?
correct. Yeah, it's, they
That
just
is
extend
adding
those
a
roads.
whole lot more traffic to their
Right. And
subdivision.
that's, you and I actually voted against this.
Yeah.
Service, and they had you change your
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah,
And that's the only thing, my concern is, we are talking, let's even say 2 cars per house. It's only 58, but those residents already say that it's a lot. I would just like to know, and I don't know who you could check to see if they did a traffic study, because the previous mayor always said there has to be a traffic study for you to come into the village before you apply. So I've never seen one for these 29 houses.
Is there anybody here tonight? Sir, would you like to speak?
Again, Jack Reynolds, I'm the attorney with Smith and Hale. We were told that obviously you had to go through the rezoning process. So that's usually that point in time when you start doing the traffic study. And we've talked about the need because of, the additional houses. So we are planning to do a traffic study just to see what the impacts are on existing traffic patterns in the area. So yes, we understand that there needs to be one, and we need to review all of the, areas in which the traffic would flow through.
If I may, Bruce, because you've done this for other clients, before annexing was approved, isn't the traffic study supposed to already be done?
So I would have to refresh my memory specifically with the answers. I do not believe so. I believe it's
Okay.
either done as Wendy mentioned, when the plan to
Rezoning,
development
which makes
application is
sense.
put in.
Okay,
Or at the major site plan phase, depending on when it needs to be required.
This is simply requesting the property be annexed into the.
and we don't have an annexation agreement with you, a pre-annexing. So if we end up turning it down,
It's
going to just stay annexed, and we don't have to allow you to de-annex, correct?
This is just the annexation. There is no pre-annexation agreement. We understand that you got to go through the process.
Okay.
But you will do a traffic study.
Oh,
Like, if it's to the
absolutely.
zoning part, if the
Absolutely.
traffic study says you have to do X,
Yeah,
Y, and Z, you
improve
have to do
this, yes.
Because I think it said even if that isn't built, there's a turn lane that has to be done, like a 150-foot turn lane. Now, I don't know if that was, it said for Scioto, that one as well, because they wanted a turn lane there and Addison. So I don't know how that will play, but I know, I mean, that's probably a $500,000 deal there. I just want to make sure that our residents that already aren't happy about any more houses up there are protected, and that everybody on this side and your side understand that whatever the traffic study says, we're going to look at you and say, you have to do this, or sorry.
I would imagine that, yes, there was a traffic study done previously, and there's probably a number that triggers certain improvements.
Yeah, because I said some needed now and some,
Yeah.
you know, but that was based on their, what was it, 368 homes? So, I mean, with your 29, I don't know. They
Yeah,
probably just ask you to do the ones that it says with no build, it already needs. But I just want you to know that it did say that a turn lane on Welch Road was going to have to be done.
that's on a certain point in time, and so what we will do as a part of that rezoning process is pull out what was done, understand what the parameters were, and then look at how many trips we're generating, et cetera, and see whether that triggers any improvements on site or off site. So that's a normal process that you go through when you do a rezoning and you're looking at a traffic pattern that exists in the neighborhood.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, I got one more.
She said, oh, yeah.
So, I know, Ross, try not to kick me. I don't want to take too long.
I'm
No.
no victim here. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is just for annexation. If we decide in the rezoning that we don't want 29 homes and maybe it's fewer homes per size, that would be an option that would be entertained then? Is that a possibility that we could do instead of having 29? We could say, okay,
They would have to give us
it'd be
some
like
acres, yeah.
1 acre plots, and then we would only have 10, which would be a minimal impact, but it would still have, the ability to have more people. I don't know. I'm just trying to explore options. I don't want to shut everyone down, but I
Right.
don't want to just say, oh yeah, I want to have all of this. And even though there's no pre-annexation agreement, I don't want anybody getting the impression that I'm all for extra houses, but I am for people being able to do what they want with their land because it's their land. So if they want to do something responsible, I'm for it.
Part of the rezoning process.
Yes. so to
Perfect.
answer your
Just
question,
making
yes,
sure.
Yeah.
That's
Just
in the
making-
next step.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
making sure.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your battery died, so I
Okay, we're gonna move on. For second reading, ordinance 2025 I'm sorry, I just read that one. Ordinance 2025-05, an ordinance approving the annexation of 6.7384 plus or minus acres of Scioto Township into the Village of Commercial Point and amending the zoning map.
This is the one that they ask us to waive tonight if we find it
Yes.
in our best interest, so that they can, if I remember correctly, it was to try to get the ball moving on this year's pricing instead of whatever goes up next year. Have you had any initial conversations with ODOT about the ins and outs, or are you saving all of that for a big surprise that they're going to want you to do $500,000 worth of work right there
Oh,
to do
there's
anything?
gonna have to be $500,000 worth of work there in the turn lanes, our gas station.
And you guys are prepared for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a question I brought up with them earlier. We have the warehouses across the street. You're putting in truck fuel and stuff like that, right? Is there gonna be truck
Diesel
parking?
in it,
Diesel.
yeah.
So my concern is, I do this for a living, I drive semis.
Yeah, so
We're gonna be shoving trucks in and out of there, probably about 900 feet north of that stoplight, right? You guys have any idea where that entrance is gonna
that's
be?
up to ODOT. We gotta get with ODOT and the engineer and let them decide where we gotta put in that. Because I'm not a professional.
Sure, no, I'm just asking because I was worried about, when I'm looking at this, I'm worried about the truck clutter right there with those warehouses going in and then people coming both ways, north and south, out of that gas station, out of those warehouses.
There's a lot of distance between there. We walked that whole area. There's a lot of distance.
Is there?
Can you refresh my memory? Sorry, Ralph, real quick. I think this might help you to visualize with the clutter. I like how you phrase that. That's cool, truck clutter. How many trucks were you hoping to support in that gas
I
station?
think
And
there's
then,
like 9 pumps, 10 pumps.
so 9 or 10 for
Yeah.
diesel?
Well, it's
Or-
each side. It's one pump and you go to the other side and fill up. So
Okay, so it's
you split it,
mostly
there's
just
probably-
diesel.
There's probably
So-
10 pumps.
About the size of Circle K,
Okay,
because there's, I think, 4 or
Yeah.
5 stalls.
Yep.
It's Circle
Okay.
K, just so you
It's
can
about
picture
like that.
something.
Thank
turning
you.
there.
okay.
So, I mean, you might have a lot of the trucks that are quote local to our warehouses, they'll probably use that. And then
Oh, I
some of
guarantee it.
the stuff coming south.
Because of most of those warehouses, we're not allowed in there when we deliver there.
Now, remember though, the one, BJ's is putting in a fuel thing for all of theirs on site.
I got it. You drive trucks, right?
Yeah, for
Most of them
26
big truck companies, they have their own fuel setups.
Yeah.
So
Sure, but what I'm
and they
saying
got
is,
their fuel card set up with the gas station.
sure, but what I'm saying is, those warehouses, when I deliver there, we're not allowed in there to use the restrooms,
Yeah.
right? So I'm looking at that, I'm looking at, we're gonna stop there for lunch. The only thing I was worried about was having slow traffic moving in both directions. So that's why I asked him about the ODOT and see if.
Well, you know, ODOT's not gonna let you get by.
No. They're going to have to do everything they need plus.
Yeah, they're gonna make us do everything possible not to cause accidents.
And
That
then,
was the only concern I had with it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite building right there on that highway, that state highway, because they're gonna be real restricted. I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna put a lot of turn lanes in, a lot of safety.
Yeah.
and
And
everything.
probably have one right out and right out like we talked about
Yeah.
originally on the
Yeah.
south. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
They'll probably make you go down the light. They probably won't let you go make it right there. It's up to them what they
Sure.
tell us to do.
Right,
And then we can argue with them, but usually you don't win.
right.
Yeah, because we're going to make you do whatever they say.
Yeah.
So it's not our liability,
Yeah.
quite honestly.
Yeah, well, mine too. I don't want liability
Yeah.
either.
I mean, I feel like we haven't had anybody come speak against this since I've been on council. Nobody's here tonight. So, I mean, I'd like to make a motion to waive the third read.
Okay. Is there a second? Ralph, second. Roll call.
Ralph,
Yes.
Ross,
This is to waive the readings.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Audrey,
yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
By Sarah, second?
Yeah.
Eric? Roll call?
Eric,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Now the fun begins,
Well,
man.
thank you.
Mark this
All
down
the
because
stress.
I don't
Hey,
usually
No
waive
truck
readings.
wash.
No truck, thank you. I don't
Okay,
usually waive, so.
moving on to third readings. Ordinance 2025-03, an ordinance accepting the final plat of Foxfire subdivision, Phase 3, Part 3.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay,
Thank you guys.
roll call?
Sarah,
Yes.
Ross,
Yeah. Oh, me? Yes.
Yes.
My hearing aid battery.
Ralph?
Yes.
Audrey.
Yep.
Eric,
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Next is a resolution 16-2025, a resolution approving the major site plan application for Genland LLC on behalf of K Nova as to Lot 12 in the Rickenbacker Exchange Part 3 development. You did get some updated plans.
I really feel like
More trees.
they've addressed all the concerns we had. The mounding is as high as it can pretty much go on the north. And Ross and I were talking here this evening, just real quick, and, you know, he said if it ends up being empty trailers, I said, I think we've gotten enough screening that, you know, I think it's gonna be okay from all distances. So, I mean, if nobody else has any other discussion, I mean, I make a motion to, what is it, approve it? Is that the proper wording for this one? Approve?
Yes.
Does anybody have any other discussion before I officially make a motion?
I just want it to be on record that we make sure that we are maintaining all of the greenery, buffering over there in that whole district. I'm still
That's
slightly salty on that.
That's on our zoning.
I know.
He got a hold of them.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. Cool, then I'm totally down for it.
Make a motion to approve 2025.
Second,
All right. Roll call.
Ross,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
We just did this.
Andrea,
yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Okay, passed. Okay. Administrative actions. Resolution 24-2025, a resolution to transfer monies within the general fund for the transfers out account 1000-910-910 and transfer said monies to the street department, buildings and other structure account 1000-620-530.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Sarah,
Yes.
Andrea,
yep.
Ralph,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
I,
All right.
Ross needs 5 minutes.
5
to get a
minutes.
battery.
yep.
Yeah,
Bio
5
break.
minutes. Sarah, are we?
Ah.
As long as you.
No.
I think Billy's setting it up. And we're gonna.
I'm gonna
Oh,
go.
we're gonna go in there.
I'm gonna
Set
go.
it up.